Hey, good morning. Welcome to the JeepSolid garage. We've got a lot done. All the prep work, all the sanding is finally done on my painting project, my 1994 Jeep Wrangler YJ. Sanding and prep is all done. Thank goodness, that was so much work. Today, we are turning the shop into a paint studio. Got a little bit of cleanup to do, a few other little projects I gotta button up, but let's get to it. The first thing I want to do, there's a little spot on the tailgate here and I want to get some Bondo on. There's just a little dent, a little hole there. I want to fill that in. This tailgate, it's got some dents and dings in it already. I'm not super worried about getting a totally perfectly smooth surface, flat finish. I just want to fill that in a little bit. So I'm mixing up the filler here. Not really stirring it. You don't want to get air bubbles in it, so I'm just kind of kneading it here. Trying to keep air bubbles out of it because you don't want air bubbles in your body filler. But it's mixed pretty good now. Let's get a little dollop of that out. It's not going to take a whole lot here. There we go. And then my hardener now, we're going to knead this as well. Squeeze out any air. Put the cap back on. Then kind of knead it. This stuff will just settle, so you got to mix it up. Now I've got, about a golf ball size bit there. We're going to squeeze some of the hardener on here. And this is when our clock will start ticking on this. We're going to knead this in, kind of folding back on itself. Again, trying not to get air bubbles in it until it's all uniform. And once it's all mixed nicely, we're going to take a real small coat. This is like a skim coat to me. You just want to get an initial little bit on there. And you want to go out past the surface because we're going to sand this down again. Yes, a little more sanding. Once our skim coat's on there, we can get a little more of a build coat. Now I'm just kind of scraping off a little bit of the excess, kind of reduce my sanding a little bit. So I'm pretty happy with how that looks. And we're going to let that dry and give it a good sanding. Now I need to get as much stuff out of the way as possible because I need a lot of room for painting. So I'm going to clear out as much junk as I can so I can turn this shop into a paint booth. Now that I've got the shop pretty much cleaned out, I can go ahead and start laying plastic. I'm going to put plastic completely across the floor because this paint gets everywhere, and up all the walls. I have a hot water heater back here, a gas hot water heater. I don't want to turn my shop into a bomb. So I'm actually plasticking off that section too, the side door over there. I'll leave that open for some ventilation because I don't want all the fumes building up back there either. So let's start plasticking stuff off. Now here I've got a big tarp. This is like painter's plastic, like a big drop cloth. It is 20 feet wide by 25 feet long. My ceilings are about 10 feet high. So I'm gonna cut this right down the middle to make two 10-foot sections. This is just a heavy duty painter's plastic. So then I just start hanging it up with the staple gun. But I've learned from last time that worked really well. Using the staple gun just to kind of get it initially hung. But then I have to go back. Well, actually, as I'm doing it, because the staples, they pull out of the plastic pretty easily. So then I go along it with some duct tape. And I'll end up duct taping both sides. And then I get a nice tight seal to the ceiling and the plastic doesn't end up falling down on me. So here I'm just doing a few little pieces just to get an initial hold. Then I'll go on the other side, on the back side, and run a continuous piece of duct tape all the way down. All right, got two nice walls up here, and as you can tell, I measured once and cut a little bit short. Go figure. Measure twice, cut once, right? No big deal. I can just, the plastic that I'm gonna put down on the ground, I can just run it up a little bit on the edges. So this, I thought was 10 feet, but apparently I cut it at 9 foot. So that other piece must be 11 feet long. So it'll be plenty long enough for the other side of the shop here. So let's do that. Not sure how well it'll come out on camera, but I think it's looking pretty good. Got everything sealed up pretty darn well. Last time I did this, I did put a vent up in the corner up there. I got a filter and everything. This time, I'm just not sealing it as well. I'm gonna end up with, you know, a little bit of air gaps around some of the corners and stuff, but that's gonna be my intake. I am gonna have an exhaust fan blowing out underneath the shop door, so a little bit of air will be coming in all those little cracks and going out, exhausting out the fan. So that's my plan. I'm not super worried about it not being totally sealed because you can even paint outside. I've seen videos of people doing pretty darn good paint jobs outside, so I just want it mostly clean. That's what I'm going for. One of the biggest challenges is just getting everything in a tight space because you need room to paint. I mean, you can't be just snugged up against everything because you'll brush it with the hose and your clothes and stuff. So you need to kind of be away a little bit to give you room to paint. But when you're doing 2 doors and a windshield and a hood and the entire body and the tailgate, like there's so many pieces to have out and about, so let's try to arrange it a little bit. I think I can make this work. These doors out here, I'm just trying to see what kind of space I have. I'll be rearranging things a little bit. The hood, I think last time I hung the hood and it worked out really well, so I'll probably hang the hood again. That might give me a little more room. These doors, just trying to fit all the little pieces in. Can be like a jigsaw puzzle. I think we're looking pretty good. I can get around the front of the Jeep pretty good. Let me show you guys. So I need enough space to get around. I got to get the front and back side of the hood. Just the outside of the tailgate here. I can get to the front. I think that's enough room for me to stand over here and then have my gun, you know, 8, 10, 12 inches, however far away I'm gonna be painting. All these little trinkets, I think I'm gonna leave these on top of the engine bay. I don't know, I'll figure that out. Because I wanna, if I push it back, but then I have a hard time reaching, I gotta get all this down here. I might put the tailgate, last time I did it, I put the tailgate right there, and it's shorter, so it worked out really well. And the windshield, I put on some sawhorses. But then I gotta figure out where to put all these little hinges and bezels and screws and bolts. This side, I got plenty of room over here. I could actually bring the Jeep over a little bit. Let me see here. Yeah, plenty of room on this side. Could even come over a little bit. So yeah, looking pretty good setup so far. I'm gonna work on hanging the hood up exactly where I want it, have it hang in, worked out really nice. Check out my next video right up here, and have a good day. Got a little bit of sanding to do still.